Mr President, I seek leave to make a brief explanation before addressing a question without notice to the Minister for Infrastructure and Transport on regional rail. This one's for you, Mr President, for your last day.
Is leave granted? Leave is granted. The Honourable Mr Sims.
On the 16th of May 2025, the former Minister for Infrastructure and Transport, Tom Koutsantonis, announced 2 additional rail corridors to support peri-urban growth, one south towards Aldinga and Sellex Beach and one north towards Roseworthy and Concordia. I quote from the Minister: "As the world around us changes, our transport system will play a crucial role in driving economic growth, achieving net zero emissions and preserving the livability of our state." My question to the Minister responsible for infrastructure and transport, therefore, is: when will the Malinowskis government finally announce a meaningful transport policy that adequately services our regions by expanding passenger rail to connect our regional cities and townships? When will you finally fund regional rail?
Minister for Infrastructure and Transport.
I thank the honourable member for his question. Regional transport, public transport, is very important to this government. I think as you've highlighted that there has been new corridors secured. I think that's a pretty important part of planning ahead, is not just to think in a few years' time, oh, I wonder how we're going to build that infrastructure that's so needed for these new housing growth areas. We should maybe go and acquire all these homes that we allowed to build where a corridor could have been secured if someone had just planned ahead. So I guess as a government, yes, we are planning ahead, and we have made it very clear that we are extending those important rail and also public transport corridors. That is something that the government has been proud to be able to achieve. We've also been pretty proud to be able to achieve bringing back our public transport into public hands. You know, you might roll your eyes over there and feel like, oh, I've heard this before. But, you know, it is when you have good governments in place and you want to make sure that you can continue to invest in public transport, we need to make sure that it's in public hands, and that's what we've done with our trams and trains. And the reason why that's really important is because the honourable member is pretty keen on getting trains to Blair, extending the line, and he's keen to use the ARTC line, a private line, to be able to extend the train line. Now, this becomes a little bit tricky, because I don't know if the honourable member, with your policy announcements over there, have decided to talk about with the ARTC if you are able to use their line to extend public transport. We know that this is very complicated and not an easy one, and not an efficient one at that. Because if you have an ARTC line that is owned by a freight company, guess who has priority of that line? It would be the freight company. So in the morning, when you're waiting for your passenger train to be able to use a freight line, I'm not sure exactly which section they get to use, how they get to use it. Are they waiting on the sideline whilst we're waiting for the freight line to go past? So as a government over here, we are doing our homework and we are investing heavily. We've made sure that we just haven't gone out there and made some ideas about let's go put a train here or let's go do something over there. What we have done is we've bought the trams and trains back as we promised. What we have done is gone and spend $19 million in Mount Barker so that we could have up to 590 extra services. That's a 42% increase in services. We have seen $2 billion spent on public transport. We have seen the growth of patronage grow by 1.9 million people, 1.9 million journeys. We have seen significant change because we're not just investing in one part of this story, we're investing in bringing it back, we're investing in the infrastructure, we're investing in the services that are available. That's the combination, and that we are very proud that we have been able to achieve that.
Question arising from the answer.
It was a good try. It was a good try. But does the minister have a plan for rail to the Adelaide Hills?
I don't know if the member was listening. But as much as I have absolute most respect for the honourable member, the line that you are referring to and that you have referred to, I believe in your policy ideas, is using the ARTC line to Mount Barker. Now, in 1883 that line was built. It's a little bit outdated, and I just want to run through this a bit more. So when the SA Mount Barker mass transit study was released, it suggested that the maximum speed that could be used on this particular line could be 25 to 40 kilometres an hour. That's rather slow. That's a slow old journey. That's a slow journey into the city. So what is being seen as a good investment and what is seen as an efficient form of getting down from the hills, weaving around instead of going 20 to 40 kilometres an hour, is investments in buses. And that is what we have seen. I just went through that before. $19 million to go into new park and rides, to go into almost 600 new services. I've just run through the rail component just for you just then, and the investment that we've put in is buses, significant investment in buses. It's making a difference. We've seen an increase, we've seen the popularity grow, and that has been the investment.